Look, when you get invited to do a master class, I mean, you know who's behind this. Everybody knows that. I mean, this is the big O, man. First of all, it's such an honor to even be asked to do one of these, that you're thought of enough. And then next, who's gonna take the time and really get into the richness of it all? I mean, the real underbelly of what you're saying. Some people touch on it, but you come here in this master class, they want to dig out the how to, how come, why. You know, the how come, the what for, the how so, the thinking process that you had behind it. It's not merely just questions. They want to know what drove you to this? How did you manage to? What did you do? What did you say? Because really, man, that's what the majority of people need to hear. So now how do we get to where you are? Share with us what was going on in here to get you there. I was trying to teach my sons, when you meet a person with means, a person that's well off or you think is successful and that you've always wanted to meet, don't go in there asking for money. People who are successful and well off are more responsive and more receptive. If you come to me instead of trying to get what I've earned and come to me to try to get what I've learned, now you got something, man. And that's what these interviews do. They allow you to get what people have learned. And that's far more valuable. If you can watch this, man, and you can pick up something, some little motivational tidbit, some little way of looking at life where you can change your attitude, which then changes your altitude. That's what it's about to me. I call my mom's answering machine first. And there was a message from Chuck Sutton, who's passed now, the great Chuck Sutton. He said, "Hey, Steve, this is Chuck Sutton from Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of you and was wondering, man, it was a great tape. You're really funny. We have an opening for you this Sunday night. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. If you could just get here, we'll put you on the show on television, man. You're very funny. Let us know if you can make it." Boop. And it goes off. And I went, wow. As soon as I went, wow, my heart sunk. Because now how do I get to New York? I got $35, man. I don't have enough to make it to New York. There's no way. The one time I could finally get on TV, and I can't even get to the gig. I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I gotta get to Harlem, New York. I don't have no money. I can't eat. I don't have a place to stay. This is horrible, man. So I sat in my car, tears just running down my face, man. I said, this has gotta be the worst joke I've ever heard. I said, no, let me call back and see if he said Sunday. So I called right back, doop, it was this Sunday. And I got ready to hang up, and then I heard, doop, you have another message. "Hey, Steve, this is Tom Sobel from the Comedy Caravan. I got a gig that's available in Florida tomorrow night, which is Friday night. I got $150 for you if you can get there." Friday night, it's Thursday. I'm 100-some miles away. Yeah, man. So I get in the car, I drive, I do the gig. The guy pays me $150. He said, "Man, you were so good. I'll cancel the guy Saturday night. Would you stay Saturday night?" He gave me $300 to stay for Saturday. I had $475. I called Chuck Sutton. I said, "I'll be there." Got at the Apollo Theater at 2 o'clock, and I went out there and I got a standing ovation.
I'm Steve Harvey, y'all. I gotta get out of here. We're gonna have a good time tonight, y'all.
And man, I was on cloud 9. I mean, it was the greatest moment of my life up until that point. I had killed at the world famous Apollo Theater. And that was it, I was on TV. My mother never knew I was homeless. She never knew. I said, "Oh, Mama, I got friends out here I went to college with. I'm staying at my partner's house, man." I couldn't tell her I was homeless. That would have broke her heart. And my mother had allowed me to put an answer machine in the attic of the house. Just a phone line and an answering machine. I was out there living in a car and I was struggling, but I could call back to that answering machine and see if I got any work. You know, back in the day, you punch your code in, doop, you have a message. And so I was washing up in a hotel, and I used to go to really nice hotels because they had like washcloths, and I'd get a bunch of them and run them under hot water, and I'd go in the stall and I'd wet my body. And then some of them would have soap on them, and I'd soap myself up. Then I would go out and I would get another handful and wet them down, and I'd come and I'd take the soap off with them. Well, I got soaped up, but a convention was in town and they had let out for breakfast. And so for 45 minutes, it was just a parade of men coming in that bathroom. And I'd taken off my clothes to get lathered up. And all of a sudden, this soap is drying on me. And I just let the lid down and I set some towels down. I just started crying. And a guy heard me in there. He said, "Hey, sir, are you okay?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." But I was done at that point. I said, "That's it, man. I can't do this." My father came home. She said, "Slick," which was my daddy's nickname, "your boy been up at the school being a smart aleck." Now, I already know I'm gonna get a whipping for this. She said, "Tell him what you wrote on your paper." And I said, "I want to be on TV." And my father said, "Well, what's wrong with that?" And she said, "Well, he being a smart aleck and putting something like that that's unbelievable on the paper." So my father said, "Bill, how come the boy can't put on the paper he want to be on TV?" So they were starting to get into an argument, so I got sent to my room, which I knew what that meant. That means go in your room, get ready, we're gonna get this whooping, right? So I go in my room and they're out there having a discussion. My father came in the room. He said, "All right, this is what I want you to do. What does she want you to put on your paper?" I said, "I don't know, Daddy, like a basketball player, what all the rest of the kids wrote." He said, "Well, put that on the paper. Take that to school tomorrow and give it to him. Take your paper and put it in your drawer. Every morning when you get up, read your paper. And every night before you go to bed, read your paper. That's your paper." What he told me was a principle of success, that if you write it down and envision it, anything you see in your mind, you can hold in your hand. He knew that. And so he gave that to me. After that, every year when the teacher was living, I used to send her a TV for Christmas because I wanted her to see me. She saw me one year and she said, "Boy, you send me all these TV from wherever you are, and you don't understand. I got too many TV. I have to get these TVs away sometime." I know, it's all right though. And I kept that paper. And that little boy with the stuttering problem is on TV 7 days a week. Yeah, I'm on TV. When you feel like giving up, don't. When you thinking about giving up, don't. When it look like you ain't gonna make it, keep going. When they tell you you can't, come on, man, who are they? When they tell you to put all your stuff back on your desk, don't do that, man. Don't do that. When they tell you you're not funny, you're not gonna make it, don't believe them, man. Don't believe them. You got to be relentless. When they tell you that you overexposed, be relentless. I was with a friend who went to the hospital one day, and he asked me to go with him. His grandmother was dying. He said, "Hey, Harv, you know you good with this kind of stuff, just go with me, man." I was just standing behind him, just sort of holding him up there. "Come on, man, just stand." He kept calling him, my dear, I love you." And she said, "Baby, I'm not gonna make it. I'm finna go home. But I called you down here because I want to ask you something." She said, "Do you know your great-grandfather's name. He said, no, my dear, I don't. She said, you know why? She said, because he didn't leave you nothing. She said, when I die, I want you to go away from here, and I want you to live your life so that your children's grandchildren will know your name. And the only way for them to know who you are is you got to leave them something. That day, he didn't get the message, but I heard it though. I heard it. And when I heard that, it changed me. And it changed me to the point where I said, wow, I'm gonna start living my life so that my grandkids' kids know my name, then I've accomplished the deal.